Okie doke. Everyone, thank you for joining us this evening. Our huge group on the World Wide Web, I'm sure, because the weather's a little inclement and they felt it wasn't the best idea to come out in the elements. So with that, this Board of Education since 6:15 this evening has been meeting in closed session for purposes of appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel of the district, collective negotiating matters, and lastly, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of a particular district has been filed or is pending before a court or administrative tribunal. With that, I will entertain a motion to come out of closed session.
I'll move to come out of
Closed session. We have a motion, second, come out of closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And with that, I will welcome you formally to our business, our it's not what we call this meeting. Oh, just had thought lost my workshop. Workshop meeting was named that many years ago, and it's a perfect meeting because we're going to learn about Elmwood tonight. And our mission is to educate students to be self-directed learners, collaborative workers, complex thinkers, quality producers, and community contributors. And I will ask Maureen to do a roll call, please.
Board members present: Kristen Fitzgerald, Mike Yench, Susan Crotty, Jackie Romberg, Terry Fielden, Susan Price, Donna Wanke, and Student Ambassador Bryce Dunlap.
Thank you very much. And as you're able, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. It's a little more fun when the students are here, but we'll take this. And we have some good news. I hear tell about a board member.
We do have some great news. Congratulations to board member Mike Yench on achieving the National School Boards Association Award for Distinguished Service to Public Education. This recognition is given to approximately 1% of the nation's 95,000 school board members for demonstrating the highest commitment to public education through school board leadership. So congratulations to Mr. Yench.
Truth be known, he knew nothing about this till it was in board docs, I think it'd be fair to say. You sounded surprised to me when I asked you about it. So, great news. And this is the portion, every meeting we have, every public meeting we have, there's a time for public comment. And if there's anyone, I do not have any forms, but if there's anyone, if either one of our presenters would like to, or anyone else would like, would like to come and speak. I'm mentioning this to everybody on the World Wide Web. You always, if there's something you would like to speak about as a group, you would have 5 minutes, or an individual 3 minutes. And usually in the beginning of our meetings, there's that opportunity for public comment. So with that, we will go on to communication, and we'll go on to the student ambassador report. We'll start with Bryce.
Okay. Oh, there we go. All right, so coming up this Friday, student government's putting on our first ever throwback dance, which is like a 90s dance. Yeah, I know. Throwback for us. I'm sorry. But, okay.
Wait, we're trying to recover from that one, okay?
I knew I was going to get something from you guys. But we just felt it'd be a good way to kick off the semester, having a dance. And then also, Naperville North JKB met last night. Where we discussed our goals for this semester and how we're going to make a bigger impact on the school. So some things we went over were we're going to have another Purple Out game against Naperville Central, and this is really going to promote awareness for Anti-Bullying Month, and also we want to spread the message Chris Herron delivered to us last year. Going along with that, we want to really promote the club Rise Above. And spread that message of Chris Herron to all the students at Naperville North and Naperville Central. And then also we just want to put on a couple more events to really try to bring the school together.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Bryce. Next item would be Superintendent Staff School Report.
We have 2 reports right now, and as I make a couple of introductory comments, I'll invite the team from Elmwood. I don't know if it's both or one. But coming to the podium right now is Principal Lisa Plomsky, and supported in the audience by her able assistant principal, Laura Nowicki, who's also the process manager on the school improvement team that you'll hear about. But we are continuing with our process of keeping the Board of Education and our community updated on the work of school improvement at each of our schools. And during each of our workshop sessions, we invite one of our school principals to come speak on behalf of his or her school and their school improvement efforts. And tonight we're pleased to introduce to you and bring in front of you Lisa Plomsky on behalf of Elmwood Elementary School. And we have to thank Lisa for taking this slot the day after 2 weeks
Not
of
a popular
vacation.
slot, I bet.
So she has actually presented and shared with Cabinet all the way back in the second week in December. So looking forward to her presentation, and I'll turn it over.
Well, good evening and Happy New Year. Thanks
And
for
I
having
forgot
me.
to give my microphone instructions, which would be make sure you turn your microphone on, and you'll have 2 blue lights.
Pull it closer.
Perfect.
Good evening. Thanks for having me and Happy New Year. So I was told that I had 10 minutes tonight, and I quickly realized how short of a time that was. So tonight will just be a glimpse of what we're doing here at Elmwood. I want to start off by presenting our school improvement team that we have at Elmwood. Up here on this slide, we have representation at Elmwood from all of our grade levels, as well as our specialists who serve as liaisons for our fine arts team, our dual language team, and also our student service team.
I love this.
Good.
I was thinking of
So here is the tree. I like to use analogies, and the green apple, of course. I like to use analogies when telling stories. So if you look at this tree, I want you to think of District 203, and then 22 apples being on that tree representing each of our schools in the district. The dissected apple that you see up on the screen, I'd like you to think of Elmwood. As I thought of this apple, I just kind of wanted to explain what our team does here at Elmwood. We often think of the students as the core of the apple. However, I want you to think in this analogy as the skin being the students. We think of the students coming to Elmwood as shiny, bright, full of life, and so we thought of the skin being the students. Underneath the skin, we are thinking of the staff members being the flesh of the apple. They're an important piece at Elmwood that make sure to ensure that the student's skin remains shiny and bright. The next piece of the apple we have are the seeds, and we have our leadership team at Elmwood who work on the school improvement plan. We have them representing the seed. The next piece of the apple we have is the core of the apple, and that we have as representing our school improvement plan, which I'm going to go in further detail with you this evening. Here's our continuous improvement of just a wheel that kind of shows you. I know my former colleagues have also presented their school improvement plans. Our plan is much the same at Elmwood, where we come around as a school improvement team to analyze the data, assess our rising star indicators, and then create and revise our school improvement plan, also implementing our actions, and then continuously monitoring and adjusting our school improvement plan to meet the needs of our students at Elmwood. So a piece of our data at Elmwood was actually driven, a piece of it that's driving our school improvement plan includes the feedback that we received that last school year and this school year from our students, our staff, and our parents. So my first year at Elmwood last school year in August, I actually surveyed my staff as a first-year principal, and I surveyed them through something called the 4 C's. I asked the staff at Elmwood, what would you like to see in my first year at Elmwood maybe be continued? What would you like to see being created, changed, and maybe even canceled at Elmwood to improve the learning for our students at Elmwood? So with this feedback, I used in my first year as a tool to create some of the plans I implemented in my first year at Elmwood. At the end of the school year last year, with the help of my home and school president, we did the same 4 C's survey with our parents. So we asked the parents the same questions. As you look up here on the slide, I just pulled out a few quotes from our staff as well as a few quotes from our parents at the end of the school year last year. Much of the information that you see presented, we've actually been able to already implement at Elmwood. And if we have not implemented already, we've actually put these ideas that were shared with us into some of our goals that I'm going to talk to you a little bit through our indicators. I first want to just kind of highlight and talk about the goals that we actually implemented last school year in 2013-14. Here are the 2 goals that we had last year through Rising Star, where we asked our teachers that they would be testing frequently using evaluation methods, a variety of them. And then our second goal, we asked the teachers to make sure that specific learning activities were aligned to objectives. I'm happy to report that we met both of our goals last school year. However, we kept them on our plan for this school year just as a reminder that we wanted to make sure teachers were maintaining these same goals that we met last year. And then we went ahead this year and we add 4 new goals. This is just an overview of the goals for this school year. The first goal focuses on student learning data, which I will go over in just a little bit detail. The second goal focuses on the environment of the school at Elmwood. Our third goal focuses on documentation of our work that we do. And the last goal is about improving communication at Elmwood. Here is just, I want to make sure I highlighted how Elmwood's goals are in alignment with our district strategic focus as well as our district mission on this slide. And you can see that everything is aligned. Our next slide here is goal 1. And we believe at Elmwood that this goal is really the key to closing the achievement gap here at Elmwood. Through the analysis of data, teachers are constantly determining current levels of performance, and they're designing their instructional strategies to move students forward at Elmwood. If you look at the tool on the right on this slide, this is an example of a tool that our 3rd grade teachers are using this school year. Teachers have begun to use our school-wide resource as the main source for pre- and post-assessments for their students. They are matching school-wide pre-assessments to our Common Core standards, and they're developing flexible, differentiated, and strategy-based groups for the students. This tool helps teachers to see student growth throughout the unit and also to compare student growth through each unit. The second tool on the left-hand side is a tool that our kindergarten teachers are currently using, and they're using this to progress monitor students in the area of math. So again, using Common Core state standards to determine the skills that students need in order to be skills that need to be progress monitored by the students. Teachers are also coming together at the kindergarten level to discuss common evidence that they are finding, as well as establishing targets for the students. All of our teachers, all of our grade levels, our fine arts department, dual language teachers are using pre- and post assessments. Teachers are analyzing the information from pre- and post assessments to determine what skills students already have, and then determining what skills students need to still learn. This next slide shows you at the very top is a blue chart here that shows you how often our teachers are meeting as a professional learning community this school year, as well as a diagram below just showing you and highlighting the work that we do together. So last year, our grade level teachers met once per week as a professional learning community. We met after school. Upon reflection last school year, the teachers, all of us felt that 1 time a week was not enough time to talk about students and talk about the data and make decisions about students. So this year, at the end of last school year, we came together and decided more time was needed. This school year, we're meeting twice a week, kind of mandatory meetings where teachers are coming together as a professional learning community twice a week to, again, talk about data. However, this time it's throughout the school day, which allows grade level teachers to come together, as well as specialists, as well as our instructional assistants who are with us during the school day, to reflect on student outcomes, and then again to plan differentiated instruction to meet the needs of all of our students. The conversations encompass all students during this time, and from those students that are struggling to those students who are excelling in our curriculum. We feel that this is what closes the gap here at Elmwood, because now we feel as though we have more time in order to meet the students right where they're at and to push them forward. During this time, we are, from taking this information during our professional learning community time, the teachers are able to create flexible learning groups for the kids. If you walked into a teacher's classroom, you would see guided reading groups, guided math groups, reading strategy groups, all the groups being highly flexible and changing on a daily basis based on the data. This next slide is about goal 2. And our goal here at Elmwood for our second goal is to ensure that Elmwood's a safe, welcoming, conducive to learning environment. This goal was selected based on some of the feedback you saw earlier from our staff and from our community members that I had shared, also from some of our students. Just to give you a little brief history, within the last 3 years in Elmwood, we have encountered over 120 new students, as well as this school year, 1/3 of our staff is new, just with turnovers, just with retirements alone. So with the happenings of new students and new staff members, we came together to realize some of the things that we were doing and are doing in Elmwood we have not been able to pre-teach both of our staff members and our students. So upon reflection of this, and with the growing building that we have, we came together and quickly realized what we needed to do. So with the help of the district last school year, and with your approval, we did add something which is up on the slide here, something we call the Eagle's Lair, which is a new space. We took out some offices and provided this new space. Now we have before and after school space for our students, as well as learning space during the school day for our students and staff members to come together. We also had some traffic concerns that we heard from our community last school year, and this year we were able to add a new drop-off lane for our community, for our parents, to create a safe drop-off lane for our students. In addition, we also knew that communication needed to be improved for both students and staff members on some of our universal behavioral expectations for our students. So in addition to some of these management initiatives, we also wanted to hear from a very important voice, and that was the voice of our students. So to also address this goal, we wanted to get some feedback from our kids. So up here on this slide, we did survey our students this school year. And this goal that was to survey our students to get their perspective on how the environment impacts the kids' learning. If the kids aren't feeling safe at school, we feel that they aren't learning to their full potential. So the survey questions range from peer relationships to student safety. Here are just a few quotes pulled from those student surveys. And then upon reflections, our own observations from staff included, we implemented just a few things to increase opportunities for students to come together, to collaborate and form relationships with their peers. We now have 16 programs that we offer to our students. That includes whether it's athletics, academics, some chess clubs, art clubs for our students, yoga that we did not have prior. We also now provide kindergarten through 5th grade students with social skills, an 8-week program that happens throughout the day that is taught by our social worker and our psychologist. In addition, we now have a social program that we offer for our 4th and 5th grade girls called Club Flair, as well as a new program we now offer based on some parent feedback to our boys for 4th and 5th graders, which is an athletic club, but it's also built on building leadership skills within our 4th and 5th grade students. This next slide is our third goal, and this focuses on the documentation of our work to be shared with key stakeholders. This is just our school improvement plan team. It sits around the data constantly. We're constantly talking about it. We just wanted to make sure that the work was documented and shared with all stakeholders, including all staff members. So at a recent Institute Day this school year, we took these indicators that are up on this slide, put them around and did an activity with our staff members, asking for their feedback. Bless you. Asking for their feedback, the staff members' feedback on our indicators and goals and what we can do. So the sticky notes on this PowerPoint slide is the feedback that we receive from staff that then we are taking back to our school improvement plan team to determine next steps for us. This last slide is our fourth goal, and it focuses on improving communication. So as you know, effective teams operate with agendas, keep minutes, stay focused, and follow through with the plans that they make. It's important for us at Elmwood to become transparent. So we decided as a leadership team this school year to survey our staff members to see how we are doing on communication. 90% of our staff members felt we were doing pretty well on communicating with them. Our goal, of course, is 100%. So taking some of the feedback that we received this year from our staff members, we decided next steps. The staff members shared with us that everyone would like to be part of the leadership team meetings. Well, we already have a large team of 12 staff members. However, I think it's a good problem to have that everyone wants to be part of that leadership team. So we did create a rotation schedule for this school year that allows everyone that's interested to come in throughout the school year to see what's happening in that conference room as a leadership team. So this is the end of my brief presentation. Hopefully you have a glimpse and understanding of what we're doing here at Elmwood. Thanks for having me.
Very good.
We just take some questions. Or
Yes.
I just was going to point out to one. Lisa referenced it. The space that was created in Elmwood. They're also one of our pilot schools for the use of some of the prototype furnishing. So I think that's been an exciting space. I know that as I visited and watching how the staff and the kids especially have used that space in a variety of ways. So it's really, I think, done a lot to bring forward that positive culture that you're trying to build. So it's a nice way to. I appreciate you embracing that.
Awesome. Thank you. Susan.
Thank you for your presentation tonight. Elmwood's actually my adopted school this year, and I had the chance to spend some time with Lisa, and I didn't get to share this with you, so don't worry. I have to tell you, out of having all the schools I've had in the last 10 years, I will tell you that school looks and feels different than I've ever experienced before. It was really amazing, and I didn't get to share that compliment with you with the holidays and everything that popped in there in between. Just even the way it looks from the outside, the way it looks on the inside. The last time I was there, it had the early childhood center in there.
Yeah.
The gym has been added. I mean, the colors on the outside are different than they used to be. I mean, it's just pretty amazing. You know, the entrance, just so many things. It's so fresh, and I mean, really, the way that we take care of our facilities, it really shows in that building that's 40 years old?
More than that, I think.
50. It just celebrated its 50th year. I think the last time I had it or whatever. So, I mean, I think that's really impressive, like how fresh and new your building looks and how, you know, just the spaces that you've reallocated, like, and the furniture. And, I mean, if you put me in that building, I would not have known where I was. I would have said, I don't know where I was. But so the outside and the facilities look different, but the learning inside looks so different than I've seen anywhere else. And it's just maybe that I haven't been noticing that same thing before, but I was so amazed. You know, last spring we talked so much about differentiated learning, and to see it in every single solitary classroom we went in, it didn't matter if they were doing math or language arts or science or social studies or gym. It was completely obvious in the groups, the activities. I mean, it was, and we talked about how do you manage that? I mean, that was kind of like the next question or the next phase from it. And I was just so excited. And all the technology that was in the classroom, I've never seen so much at any school consistently through every group we went through. I mean, there were so many fresh new things in that school. I think maybe that's why it stuck out to me so much. I was like, wow, this looks great. Wow, the culture's so different. Wow, like everywhere we went, you could really feel that in the school. So I know that doesn't happen in 2 years and, you know, or 18 months. But I really, it was great to see and great to see the changes. And I know that those same things are replicated in other schools throughout our district. And, you know, you don't always see them, you don't always feel them, but I could see and feel all of them. And, you know, I know you didn't set up going and visiting any of those rooms. We just popped in. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Kristen?
Thanks for coming. That's a great summary. It's always so fun for us to have you come in person because we get the papers and it's just not the same thing as the presentation and hearing all about it. So that's fantastic. And it sounds like you've really been able to make a progression from last year's goals to this year's goals. So that's exciting to see too. You commented that your work with the PLCs you felt like was really a key for the achievement gap, and your work with the testing for the achievement gap. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of results you're seeing as a result of some of the things that you've put in?
Okay. As a professional learning community, what we're doing is we were talking about the pre and the post assessment. I think that is key, really finding out where kids are at, where they're starting at, and then teachers are taking those the pre-assessment results, and that's what's driving their instructional planning. And that's what they're doing when they're meeting as a professional learning community, is really determining, and again, for those kids that are struggling, to those kids that are already there, how to push them forward. And not that we weren't doing that last year, but I think we're really honing in, focusing on making sure that we're doing it right and better this school year. And with more people, being able to do it during the school day and having more people around the table, as well as, you know, the specialists being able to attend. Because last school year we did it Thursday afternoon, everyone went at the same time. So our specialists were spread thin. They could not attend all those meetings, as well as our instructional assistants are now part of that process because they're with us during the school day.
That's fantastic.
So having more people helps that process.
I mean, that's definitely what we heard about here in terms of the vision with the instructional assistants, but it's exciting to see that you're actually being able to implement it, and so often, twice a week, for each grade. So that's really great.
Terry?
Thanks, Lisa. I just wanted to say your slide with the posters on there and the sticky notes and so forth, that's a really great slide. It literally gives some credibility to your leadership and also the fact that you got other people involved in the goals and makes it feel more real. So you certainly get good kudos for your unique presentation as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much, Lisa. It really
Thank you
does.
for having me.
Thank you very much.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Next topic in our reports is one of our favorite topics that we come to every year. And I think Deputy Superintendent Kane Osborne has prepared the memorandum with a summary of the criteria that previously we have agreed to for construction of the calendar. And so I'll let... throw away our audience. I know.
Yeah.
I'll let Kane speak to this. So, Kane.
The memo you have in front of you pretty much speaks for itself, and it's consistent with what the board has approved in the past. And we would use the criteria, if you approve these as they're presented here, The calendar committee would use those and draft a calendar consistent with what's been done in the past, and then bring it back here at the January 20th meeting for discussion.
Great.
And it would only come to the board for action at the second February meeting. And in the meantime, we would also gather other feedback, make sure principals took a look, and get eyes on it to make sure that it's, checking all the boxes and compliant and also meeting the needs of the schools. So, and that's the basic timeline, and I'm just here for any questions.
Susan?
I don't know if it's, I know we were limited to the 3 board instructions, but we did, I felt, come to some agreement about practice that we would use the 3rd Wednesday of August.
Yeah,
Oh, once
Yeah,
per-
the last
did I
bullet
go?
point says the target first day.
The 3rd Wednesday in August.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't page through enough. Thank you. Never mind.
Questions, comments?
Just a question. I know last year you had, with the calendar that you brought to us last year, which is for next year, you had put the conferences in a different month than usual. Do you expect to consider, I mean, you haven't had a chance to try it out, obviously,
We
because it
haven't.
hasn't until
We
next
haven't.
time. But I was just wondering if you expect to try to do the same thing?
We would look to do the same thing because the rationale for doing so stays the same. And so we thought it was a good rationale for moving them to that place, so I would expect that those would stay the same. Next year's, the 16-17 calendar will have some of the same options. For instance, when winter break would start, could be a little different than it might have been in the past. But it would be consistent with the 15-16 calendar and consistent with the criteria that are here.
Kane, could you just speak to the fact that it is a draft calendar? The 16-17 one will be a draft calendar. It's out there for planning purposes, but understanding because of, there are some schools that have 5-year calendars, I get that. But the practice,
It is for planning purposes. Even after the board adopts the calendar, the option still exists to amend the calendar at almost any time within very reasonable limits set by the state and the Regional Office of Education. Even after we submit it and gets approved by the Regional Office of Education, we can go back and amend the calendar within a certain time frame. Sometimes for specific reasons, other times a wider time frame just because we've deemed we need to.
but the community understands that the 16-17 calendar is a draft for some period of time.
Yeah, it'll say tentative on it
Right,
for quite
tentative,
some time
right.
until we're much closer to
Right,
implementing
just to give some
it.
flexibility. I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure everyone understood that.
Absolutely.
Any other comments or questions about the parameters that are going to be used by the calendar committee? And Kane, if you could also just speak to the calendar committee is a,
Yeah, it's made up of an equal number of administrators, NUEA members, and there is a parent representative who comes to that committee to lend their
and it'll be
perspective.
presented to home and school and.
Yes, home and school
As Dan
will
mentioned, right.
talk about it on Wednesday, but also next month, and we'll get a number of eyes on it before we go forward.
Sounds great. Sounds good. Any other questions or comments? I don't think so. Thank you very much, Kane. I do not have a report this evening. Are there any other Board of Education reports this evening? No. I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda, please.
I move approval of 7.01, adoption of personnel report as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second for the consent agenda, and I will ask Maureen for a roll call, please.
Romberg,
Yes.
Crotty. Yes. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Wanke.
Yes.
Yench.
Aye.
Price.
Yes.
Fielden.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. And we're getting through this agenda very quickly, very quickly. I certainly enjoyed Elmwood. That's what this is all about. This is what a workshop's about. Schedule of events, if there's anyone that needs to,
We will certainly
Take a
call
plug.
attention to January 21st and 22nd. I suppose off the calendar we should take tentative. We do have a Focus 203 scheduled for the evening of Wednesday, January 21st, and then again Thursday morning. The focus will be on digital learning in District
Nice.
203.
nice. Sounds good. I don't think anything was added this last time period. I didn't see anything that looked like it was new. But I will ask Ann to put the new ones in red again. You know, as she'd done that, that really helped me. That you weren't going through them all again. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you very much, and we will see everyone.